Thank you. First up is communications, item 180.
Request of Jack Coleman to address council regarding bicycle and pedestrian infrastructure.
Jack, welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here.
Appreciate it. Yeah, my name is Jack Coleman. I'm a Portland resident, having moved out here 3 years ago, and to move closer to my adult sons, grown to love Portland.
Great.
And today I want to speak about safety for bicyclists. Okay, all right. Almost without exception, bike riders are passionate about cycling, and I am one of them. We love to bike. It's a great sense of joy. Bicycling is very often about renewal. People who take it up are doing it to get healthy, both physically and mentally. It's also a very practical mode of transportation. Regarding that love and passion, the same cannot be said of motorists, and I'm one of them also. We are not passionate about driving, particularly in an urban setting. It's a means to an end, an expensive inconvenience. We feel entitled to obstacle-free travel, which often leads to aggressive actions and reactions toward cyclists. Cell phones and other distractions make motorists even more dangerous. So whether it's an argument, near miss, collision, injury, or even death, the motorist can dismiss this with the justification that the cyclist got in my way or they don't belong on my road. But for the cyclist who is hit by a motorist, the trauma, both physical and psychological, and as well as recovery, can be significant. Their sense of joy for bicycling is often irreparably damaged, and if the bicyclist is killed, the loss to all people connected to that person is beyond words. In 2018, my son, when we were still living in Pennsylvania, we were leading a group bicycle ride. He was supporting a new rider at the back of the ride who had gotten dropped off the back. The ride finished. My son did not return. I got a call saying he had been hit by a vehicle, and I didn't know whether he was dead or alive. So I drove up to the site where it was. The ambulances, the police stepped into the ambulance. They were cutting off his clothes. They had a neck brace on. They were checking for vitals. The driver had stopped. The cops were questioning him. He hit my son at 70 miles an hour. Statistically, he should have been dead. He lived, but not obviously without ramifications. He had to have his shoulder reconstructed, concussion, rotator cuff, all kinds of things. Could have been a lot worse. He's here today in Portland, still riding his bike, suffering from PTSD. He'll be out on the road, and the hair on his back of his neck stands up when he is riding. And he's in the bike industry. So I told you that. Bicycles are people. Bicyclists are people, not obstacles. Portland residents being seriously injured and killed regularly on our streets. I just want to say, please, you can do more. I say this to the council. You can do more to keep them safe, to keep us all safe. Thank you.
Thank you. We appreciate your being here.
Sure. And
Commissioner Mass.
Jack, before you go, number one, thank you so much for coming in and testifying today and sharing your story. Like you, and I think everyone on this council, we believe that improving the safety of our transportation infrastructure is a top priority, and we continue to work on that every day. I also believe that your call for more mindful behavior, especially when you're behind the wheel of a car, is incredibly appropriate. I will tell you, more than half of our fatal traffic crashes in Portland involve one or both parties who are under the influence of drugs or alcohol. And these are choices that also people can make better choices, and that's a message that also needs to get out today too. So I appreciate you both calling for better infrastructure, calling for more mindful behavior. I'm glad to see that in the last year, where we've seen bike ridership increase by 5%, so we're moving in the right direction.
May I comment on that?
Yeah, sure.
I don't think that's any kind of a solution to increase ridership when the safety of the riders who exist isn't fully dealt with, right?
Well, I hope that we can do both. I'll tell you.
And I agree. You
Yeah,
want to see it increase, you
Yeah,
do.
definitely, we want to see it increase. Definitely, as the transportation commissioner, one of the things I'm trying to do is build a multimodal transportation system, so
Right.
you can get to where you want to go, how you want to get there. As we do all of that, we need to make our system safer too, and we hear you loud and clear. And I'm glad to see that your son is, or hear that your son is doing well and back on his bike.
Oh, yeah, and one more thing. One of the challenges is you keep, as riders increase, often they're inexperienced. They're new to the area. They're not experienced in urban riding, and so you end up with more danger, not less, right? And you're having to keep track of people just inexperienced and not understanding.
Well, I hear you, and I feel that too. I'll tell you, I have two teenage boys, 15 and 13, and they commute home from school every day on their bikes. They have been riding their bikes for as long as you can,
Right.
from the very beginning. But they're still young, and we have. They've had some close calls. I know
yeah.
we all have skin in this game.
Yeah, I agree.
But I appreciate your advocacy and your perspective, and I hear you, and I think we're on the same page.
Yeah. And I am loosely affiliated with Bike Cloud. I mean, part of Pedalpalooza and so forth, got involved in leading rides and so forth since they got out here. So that's kind of my connection.
Great. Thanks for your service.
Jack, can I
Don't go
ask
just
you-
yet, Commissioner Ryan.
I just have a quick question. First of all, thanks for being here.
My
Takes a lot
pleasure.
of Courage, and especially when something like that happens to your son.
Yeah.
I missed the detail on where the driver was going 70 miles an hour. Where was the actual incident?
This is outside of Scranton, Pennsylvania, kind of a road leading into the city.
Oh.
We would do road rides, weekly road rides out into the outside of the city limits and then back in. So we were returning into the city limit.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Not in Portland.
Not in Portland, no.
Okay. I
no.
was like,
I mean, I've
geez,
lived in New
I forgot where
York and Boston. I've ridden in all those cities, and it's the issues are the same. But Portland has a great reputation for being a bike-friendly city. It just needs some work in the infrastructure, the under the hood kind of
When I-
things that are going to help
When I go
everybody.
to other cities, I'm sure Transportation Commissioner Maps knows this better than me because they're in this practice area all the time. I notice how they separate the different means of transportation. And Portland has a tendency to commingle all of it together.
For better or for worse, yeah.
Thank you.
No.
All right, hold that thought.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for being here.
Appreciate your being here. Thank you.